So Joe Biden went on national television to criticize Donald Trump for how he talked about the military and to thank the service members for their service. And you just got to see this to believe it. Like, Joe Biden basically goes on almost to tears about how our military men died and we put our boys in harm's way. And he carries around a piece of paper saying how many people have died in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then he turns around the very next day and says that he may increase military spending. So let's take a listen to the audio and let's talk about it.
Duty, honor, country. That's what service and patriotism is all about. Duty, honor, country. It was reported from a very reliable source and confirmed by many major outlets that he said to a fallen father, a member of the service, the father of a fallen soldier, who himself was a member of the service, as he's standing by the gravesite, he allegedly said, "I don't get it. What was in it for them?" What was in it for them? Donald Trump doesn't seem to be able to conceive the idea of selfless service or being part of a cause that's bigger than yourself. Every day I carry with me a card, and I've been doing this for the better part of 14 years. It's my schedule. On the back of it, wherever the schedule ends, there's always a black box that I have here. It says Daily Troop Updates. U.S. troops died in Iran and Afghanistan. 6,000, as of today, 923. Not roughly 6,900, 923. Because every one of these fallen angels left behind a family, left behind a community. There's an empty seat at that table now. U.S. troops wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan, 53,192. Not over 53,000. I've flown back on those C-130s with caskets draped coming out of Iraq and Afghanistan. I've been there at Dover Air Base, and those bodies come home. You know, and think of all the folks, and you all know it, coming home with unseen injuries. Tens of thousands coming home with unseen injuries, post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, mental health challenges. As a nation, I've been criticized for this over the last 30 years when I've said it, but as a nation we have many obligations to our children, to the elderly, to the poor, to those in need. But I believe we only have one truly sacred obligation: to prepare and equip our troops that we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they return.
Sending people to die for natural resources? That's what's sacred to you? Sacred duty? He gets to the part where he says, I've seen them on Air Force One, flag draped over the casket as the bodies come home. And it looks like he's about to cry, right? And one can imagine, because his own son died in Iraq, he had to be thinking about that moment. And, I'm sure he's sad his son is gone. And as well as, I'm not going to go too much deep into that. But he looks like he's going to go into tears. And then he proceeds to say, we have one civic duty, I believe civic duty, he said. And he says to prepare our troops to go into harm's way. You're crying because soldiers died. And then you literally go back into that right-wing rhetoric. Oh, we're preparing our troops to go in harm's way. As if you're sending them in harm's way to protect the country. Joe Biden, you voted to send soldiers into Iraq and Afghanistan to steal their natural resources. There was no other reason to go. No other reason to go. Because you wanted their natural resources. That's it. You wanted access to their oil fields. These people died because of you. You know, and it's not just Iraq and Iran. Remember the things that were on in with Kuwait. You have to remember, Joe Biden's been in Congress for almost 50 years. The United States funded Saddam Hussein when he was doing a genocide against the Kurds. Why? So that people like you and people like me and people like those innocent Iraqi civilians and Afghans could die while your friends get rich in Washington. And now you come out and say you might raise the military budget, raise the defense budget. You know, it's an article according to the Independent Global News. Biden says he may further increase military spending if elected. On the campaign trail, Biden said Thursday if elected president, he might increase military spending even beyond the Pentagon's current record budget of, are you ready for this? $738 billion. And then he goes to justify it by saying, we have to focus more on unmanned capacity, cyber and IT, in a very modern world that's changing rapidly. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about increasing the drone strikes that Obama wanted to do. See, the Republicans are like, yeah, let's go to war and send soldiers over. The Democrats are like, no, let's not send our soldiers over. We don't want our soldiers to die. Let's just drone strike and bomb everyone. And you know, it's actually funny because Donald Trump hasn't wanted to send more soldiers over. He wanted to bring soldiers home, but he wanted to increase the bombing. You know, I believe Obama had dropped 20,000 bombs one year. I'm not exactly sure how many Trump dropped last year, but it was significantly more. Like, I want to say it was 40,000, but it might have been a little lower, 36,000. It doesn't matter. It's too much. It's too much. This guy was bragging, we just dropped the biggest bomb ever. The biggest bomb ever. We dropped the biggest bomb ever. You're killing people. You're bragging about it. 97% of the people who died in Obama's drone strikes were civilians. So what does Trump do? He increases the drone strikes. What is Obama? What is Biden doing? He says, hey, I might increase the drone strikes. But you're sad that all these soldiers are dying. You're sad that innocent people are dying. And look, God, we have to get away from this mindset that America's the good guys. Ever since 9/11, we've been all over the world looking for terrorists. We are the terrorists. We're the terrorists. We're the menaces to the world. We're the danger. Us. Not one of the conflicts that we've been in over the past 20 years. Actually, over the past 30 years. Has been a country that had nuclear capability, has been a country that had to attack us, has been a country that wanted to attack us, has been a country who started offensives against us? None. Not a single one. And you've got idiots like Ben Shapiro still saying, the other day he had a segment, he said, oh, George Bush didn't start a war by lying. Yes, he did. He started a war by lying. He started an illegal offensive war. And if you think for a second that, oh, Democrats are so much better than Republicans and they're on their high, Democrats, oh, we're on our high horse, man, we're so much more than Republicans. If you think for a second that that is true, you are the biggest fucking idiot on this entire planet. The biggest fucking idiot. The Democratic Party has leaned too far to the right. They become way too hawkish, way too pro-war, pro-troops. Like, Biden didn't address. He said, God bless you. And instead of saying, God bless the United States of America, like, you know, every president and presidential candidate does, he said, and God bless our troops. Like, what's with the propaganda, bro? What's with the propaganda? You want God to bless our troops? Why don't you bring them home? Why don't you introduce? When you were a senator, why didn't you introduce legislation to stop the wars? Because you voted for the wars. You know why? Because your friends work at the military-industrial complex. That's why. This is why I call him Average Joe. Because with Joe Biden, business will continue in Washington as usual. You know what? Dare I say it in all the, identity-driven left people. How dare you hope for another 4 years of Trump? Oh my God, don't even utter those words. That's terrible. Trump is evil and Joe Biden is good. If Trump gets reelected, maybe the country will wake the fuck up and say, oh man, you know what? We really do need someone like Bernie Sanders. We really do need somebody like Nina Turner or Andrew Yang. Maybe they'll wake up. The country, too. Not the Democrat. The Democratic Party will never wake up. The Democratic Party is the only party I've ever seen who does not care if they fucking lose. You know that? They're the sorest fucking losers ever. They'll lose the election because they're running on bullshit policies and acting like it's the 1990s. And then what they'll do is they'll say, oh, we went too far left. We pandered to the far left too much. Oh no, we need to be centrist. Move more to the right. Yeah, to the right. Keep going. Don't stop going right. Fucking useless. I don't want to do this video, guys. I'll be honest with you. I am so sick of watching America terrorize the rest of the world. So sick. And I love America. I love my country. I love my culture. I love where I'm from. I'm from Philadelphia, the birthplace of America. Love it. But what we've done overseas to these other types of people who have a different religion than us, a different ethnic background, what we've done, we've ravaged their countries. With bombs and drone strikes and military actions and drills, and we've terrorized people. We've been terrorizing people for the past 30 years and counting. And you know what? It ain't gonna stop anytime soon. Unless we get these neocons and these neoliberals the fuck out of office. And I'm telling you, right now in the presidential election, we don't really have a choice. It's either neocon or neoliberal. But in your local Senate elections, you've got choices, man. I believe there's more AOCs out there. That there's more Jamal Bowmans. That there's more Bernie Sanders. I believe that There's more people like Nina Turner. People who want reform and are willing to fight for it. And guys, if we don't fight for it, our boys and our girls in the military, who they claim to care so much about, will be fighting so that they can maintain the status quo. You know, I'm going to end with this. Donald Trump said, I don't get it. What's in it for him? Terrible thing for him to say, yes. But it's not that far from the truth. What is in it for soldiers to sacrifice their lives? Or potentially sacrifice their lives? If we're not going to take care of them when they get back, we shouldn't be sending them there in the first place. Sending them to die so that we can have more of a natural resource that's destroying the planet and in 50 years will be irrelevant. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So the next time somebody says something about the military or don't disrespect the military, every time one of these politicians gets elected and they continue to send our soldiers overseas, and not only that, continue to kill people, continue to do things like the Yemen genocide, they are disrespecting the military. They're disrespecting the flag, and they're disrespecting the very fabric of what this country was built on and what it stands for.